guys, and welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. Once again, I'm Greg, and this is the Starting 11 show. It's our last Starting 11 show of the season, and I think anyone watching this video is going to understand the jeopardy of the game and the weight of responsibility that falls over the 11 players who are picked. Of course, we have Bournemouth, final day. It's a three-way relegation shootout. Two of the three will go down alongside Southampton. We're in the driver's seat. We're at the front of the pack, but with a lot of pressure on our shoulders sometimes in these situations, knowing you have to go out and get a point, 3 points ideally, to keep yourself safe, is a lot of pressure. We've got a 7-1 aggregate in the two games we played against Bournemouth this season. These psychological factors will be playing. Sometimes it's almost better to be the chasing pack, where you can go out and win, and even though the fate's not in your own hands, you sort of know we can only make an account for ourselves. And sometimes the other teams slip up and you find your way through. But for us, it's very much we have to win, and we've got people chasing us, and I don't think we're ever good when we're being chased. You know, we can often get into a panic mode. In terms of the news, it's very bad. We both saw Patterson. We all saw Patterson and Calvert-Lewin go off in the last one against Wolves. Calvert-Lewin we play so much better with in terms of build-up play and any kind of attacking threat. We're a completely different outfit without him. Patterson is a huge loss in terms of what we have at full-back as well. So what would be our normal sharpest instrument for attack is gone, and what we would rely on as normal full-backs we are struggling with. On the flip side of that coin, Mykolenko will be assessed late. It's a late decision. I would assume, with it being the last game of the season, we'd throw him in. But I'm going to err on the side of caution and go without him here, just because you can't say 100%. And then, of course, Onana is also fit. Godfrey and Townsend still long-term absentees as well. So we've got very little in terms of fullbacks. We've got to come up with an attack that somehow has the poignancy to go out and get a goal, because we will need one. And we also need to stitch together a defence without fullbacks that will stop us conceding goals. Without Calvert-Lewin, the considerations are that we need big men on the pitch. We saw it against Wolves. The only reason we got a goal was set pieces, and it was three big men at a last-ditch throw the ball into the box that got us a goal. A great ball from Damari Gray, I think, actually, as well, who put it in. Shouldn't be overlooked. But we need big men for set piece opportunities, because without Calvert-Lewin, that might be how we snatch a goal in this. We need to have productive people on the flanks who can attack and defend, have got history of proving it, and will be able to transition the ball in wide areas. We then need to keep the midfield fairly compact, be able to dominate it, and don't let them transition through the middle. If our wing backs, and there's a spoiler there, I think I'm going to look at a back three here. If our wingers are going to be playing up and down the pitch. And then going forward, we need a few different keys to try and unlock Bournemouth, because I imagine with nothing to play for, in the times that they're not streaming forward, they will be happy just to sit back and let us try and sweat, because we need the goal. They need nothing. They can just have fun watching us try and break down the door, and then try and hit us when we're all forward. So I'm going to throw something down. Having looked at it, I'm not even sure I like it. But with the solutions being minimal to the problems being many, I think this answers a few questions. But I would genuinely love to hear in the comments what you guys would be doing if you were Deitch here. What are your backup plans? Are you going for similar to what Leicester did against Newcastle, just soak it up, and then hope in the last 10-20 minutes you can go out and snatch a goal, even if it's your only shot of the game? Or are you going hell for leather like we did against Bournemouth, try and replicate that and make us as comfortable as we can be going into half-time? Anyway, my team, Pickford in goal, of course. I think you look at a back three and it kind of has to be Tarkowski and Mina. They're my non-negotiables. Then the question is non-cup-tied Cody. Of course, he couldn't play against Wolves. Or Michael Keane. Although this is sort of my fantasy team here, I'm trying to go with what I think is in Deitch's mind the most, so it probably will be Michael Keane. And if you take into consideration Spurs and Wolves, he has had some sort of ability to get goals in when we've needed them. So Michael Keane there. If not, I'd still bring him on towards the end and stick him up front like we did last time. Then that brings the concept of the wing backs. I know this looks absolutely crazy now I'm looking at it, but we had McNeil playing fullback last game. If we adapt that to more of a wing back role, and we know he's excellent even when he's out on the wing. He's excellent defensively. He's got a fantastic work rate. Have him sort of playing out there, and just let him be a little bit more involved in the attacks, because when we don't have him attacking, we struggle. And against Brighton, he was a fantastic attacking asset, and then has not since really been able to play there because we were penned back against City, and he had to play full back against Wolves. So that gives him a little bit more. And then on the other side as a wing back, I know Garner ended up as a full back last game, but I think I'd have Iwobi. He has played full back at times. I can't remember if it was under Benitez or Lampard now, but he seemed to have a bit of a renaissance in the position of full-back, wing-back last season. So I think I'd have him out there, utilise his work rate, let him and McNeil just run and run and run. Of course, if Mikalenko is fit, that might change us back to a back four, and you might see Mikalenko on one side and Holgate on the other. Drop Keane. I can very easily see that back four happening. And would probably encourage it if Mikalenko is fit, but I'm sort of working with what we know we have. Midfield, I then have Idrissa Gueye and James Garner, I think, as opposed to Onana. Do I really believe in that? Yeah, I think I do, at least for the beginning knockings of the stage. I'd have Doucouré in there because without Calvert-Lewin, he is a huge influence on our goals and assists, so he's got to pack out that midfield, be a little bit further forward. And then I would go with a front two of Damari Gray and Ellis Sims, I think. Let them play off each other. We all have seen Ellis Sims at Sunderland play effectively in a front two, so we know he can do it. Damari Gray would have someone to run off. I think they could link up quite nicely. I even think now Pike could play up there with Sims. I know no one rates him, and neither do I. But where he lacks in scoring, he's very good at aiding build-up play, and I imagine Sims playing off him could actually be quite effective in a weird world. But I'll go with Damari Gray, and I think that's the team. As crazy as it sounds, and I might have created some sort of Frankenstein's monster now I'm looking down at it, but let's stick with it. So Pickford in goal, a back three of Keane, Mina and Tarkowski, Iwobi and McNeil playing as wing backs, Gueye and Garner, Doucouré in front with Sims and Gray playing off each other. Listen, Mikalenko's fit, then that's probably Mikalenko at left back, Tarkowski, Mina and Mason Holgate, with Gueye and Onana and Doucouré. Of course, still got McNeil and Iwobi on the wings, and then either one of Sims or Gray up front, probably Gray. So that's two different teams you could look at. The first one is without Mikalenko, the second one's with Mikalenko. Neither feel great, but let's just hope there's enough there, because final day of the season at home, there is so many factors that play into this game that don't play into the other like every other game of the season, because the atmosphere, the jeopardy is all unquantifiable, psychological, all up in the air. No one knows what's going to happen. So let's just hope that the next time I do one of these, we're still a Premier League team. And I'll see you next season, guys. Try and think. Between watching this video and watching the game, try and think about something other than Everton, because I know it has become all-consuming. I'm looking at statistics and ratios and odds constantly to try and work out mathematically in my head what our advantages and disadvantages are, and it's driving me crazy. I can't get off Twitter, so do yourself a favour, turn this video off, go outside, go for a walk, spend some time with a loved one. just stop thinking about Everton for a couple of days. Cheers, guys. Best of luck, and I will see you next season.